Hello gorgeous, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited because today I am sharing my top eyeshadow palettes of 2022. I love eyeshadow. I think that is safe to say. If you've seen any of my videos, I am all about the eyeshadow. I go to bed at night sometimes thinking of what eyeshadow I'm going to wear the next day, what palette, what colors. I dress around the eyeshadows that I'm going to wear. I know, slightly obsessed. There are some great formulas out there. There are some not great formulas out there. So today I'm going to talk to you about what I tried that really stood out. I have a top 10 favorites, and then I have the 5 worst eyeshadow palettes that I tried in 2022. So with that being said, if I am talking about a palette that you love, to each his own. All of us have different opinions. We all have different styles of shadow that maybe we like. Some like a sheer wash. I like a pigmented eyeshadow that blends easily. I like shimmers that pop. I'm going to start with number 10. And the number 10 eyeshadow palette that I tried in 2022, you just saw me do a video with 1 or 2 videos ago, and that is the Wet n Wild Always Naked palette. This wins because it is kind of a redeeming palette. Wet n Wild's current formula, the 10 pan and 5 pan palettes I think that you can find at Walmart, I'm not a huge fan of. The mattes were okay, the shimmers were disappointing. This one, the shimmers are better. Are they my favorite formula? No. But I love so many products from Wet n Wild. There are a lot of their products that I use on my face. It is definitely a top drugstore brand for me. It's less than $10 on Amazon, and I have seen it at Walmart. There is an always naked version and an always blushing version. And this one, the shimmers, still not amazing, but they do show up. I love this one. I love the glitter, even though it is messy. But this, nice, cool tones. We have a couple neutral tones. I would say it's mostly cool and neutral, but just so pretty on the eyes. I get compliments on it, and for less than $10, I say it's great. In my number 9 position, I probably shouldn't be doing this because I've had this palette for less than a month, but I'm telling you, the first time I swatched it, I knew that it was special. This is the Uoma Black Magic palette in Allure. I will try to link as many videos as I can showing me using these palettes, but this one just has some gorgeous tones in it. You can make a mauve-y look, you can use the greens, you can incorporate that yellow. There's a purple shade in the corner there, and then the shimmers are just gorgeous. They feel a little bit different. They are a little bit drier to the touch, but they really go on. I know I'm going to have lots of swatches today. They go on beautifully on the eyes. I love this gold shade. The yellows, you can't go wrong. I wanted to try it because I love Uoma by Sharon C at Walmart. This was on sale. This was one of my Black Friday goodies. Couldn't help but pick it up, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. In 8th place is this Tarte Maneater After Dark palette. This one has gorgeous packaging. I love the black, is this cheetah, leopard design that is on there. I love black and gold. It's one of my very favorite combinations. I had never tried Tarte's eyeshadows, and in the past I felt like all the palettes that I saw were peachy, pinky, light brown, not a lot of depth. And this one just spoke to me. This one is a predominantly warm palette, lots of oranges and browns and peaches, but there is a pop of green there, there is a great black there, there's a white there, and then all the shades in between. The reason why this one is ranked where it is ranked is because I would have liked a couple lighter shimmers. I will warn you that most of the looks that you will do are going to be mid-tone to deep looks. A lot of these shimmers are not super bright. They are on the deeper side. But as far as quality, this is exactly the kind of shimmer that I like. It really, really pops. It catches the light. You have mauve looks, you have peach looks, You have brown, black. I did, in the video I did, I think I used this one, this copper shade, and it was so gorgeous. Fiery copper, so beautiful. This one, great. In the number 7 position, from a brand that shows up a couple of times in this countdown, this is the Colourpop Clay It Cool palette. This one I had to try because it was different. It had a cream shadow in it, and that I found very exciting. It is right here, and it is great to use as a base for the shimmers in the palette. This one has some beautiful tones. I have heard that it is a dupe for the Paht Major Dimension 2 palette. I do not know that because I do not have that palette, but what I can tell you is the looks that I've created with this palette are stunning. So, so pretty. I love the lighter shimmer that's in here. There are a couple lighter shimmers in here, so you can get a nice peachy look, very creamy, very compact. I love the styling. I've seen there were 2 versions of this Clay It Cool. There was another one. I'll try to pop a picture. I'm very curious to try that one. I may pick that one up as well. But this compact, small, creamy, poppin', all the things, and an affordable price. I really enjoyed this Colourpop Clay It Cool palette. In 6th place, one of my top eyeshadow brands. I love almost everything that I have from them. This one I tried in 2022, and it is amazing. It is the Juvias Place Nubian Earth palette. So stunning. As soon as I saw this picture, I knew that I had to have this palette. It has all the things that I want. 4 mattes, and then the rest are different variations of shimmer. I would say the only one I'm not huge on is this swirly one up here, because it's more of a topper. You'll hear more that I'm not a huge fan of toppers. I want pigment. I want a shadow that's going to show up on my eye. This one is brown, but it has a lot of tinging green in here. If you are a neutral lover, if you love green shadows, this is great because it's brown, but I feel like it teeters on the green side, which I think is very flattering to my eye color, which is a light brown. I see tinges of green in my eyes. Every time I wear this palette, I feel gorgeous. Inexpensive. That whole line was great. I wear the Nubian Earth lipsticks all of the time. I have a warm toned one and a cool tone brown, of course, which are my favorites. This, highly recommend. Number 5 comes from a brand on Amazon. This is a brand called Ucanbe, and this was recommended to me. This is my go-to palette when I want lots of options, all of the rainbow colors. It's got black, it's got white, it's got some browns, greens, everything you can think of. If I want a hot pink shadow, I can go into this. The quality of this palette is surprisingly good. It is so inexpensive. The packaging, no, it is not super high-end or fancy. There's no mirror in it, but beautiful. I still have not used all of the shades in this palette, but every time I go into one, I am surprised. Of course, I've gone into the silver, I've gone into the green, the browns, the oranges. So, so nice. If you are looking for an inexpensive palette that's going to give you all the rainbow colors, this is a great one. I will have all of these palettes linked in the description box below, as well as my Amazon storefront. Check it out. I have all my favorites listed on there. Number 4 was the Halloween palette from Colourpop. This was the All Hallows Eve Colourpop palette. Love this, wore this on, I believe it was Christmas Eve. I posted a picture on my social media. I will post it. These palettes are not limited to fall, are not limited to Halloween. You wear it anytime you want. I love the shade variation. You've got browns, oranges, the greens, the purples, the more taupes. I like the way that this is laid out. It's a little easier to understand, to know where you're going when you're putting a look together. And of course you can go all over the place as well. But another great formula. I mean, wow, look at that shimmer. Look at this one. Colourpop is a good, inexpensive brand. If you've not checked it out, I recommend. I've only been let down maybe once or twice, and I have a whole drawer full of Colourpop eyeshadows. If you ever want a ranking of what I own, let me know, because I feel like 99% of the time you can't go wrong. If you see a Colourpop color story that you like, grab it. You will be pleased. But this one, loved it and continue to love it. Number 3 is a brand that you will see more than once in this countdown as well. Packaging is dirty. And it is the Glamlite Hershey Kisses collab. This came in a bunch of different color variations. I got it because I love the packaging and because I trust Glamlite's formula. That is another brand that is high up on my list as far as quality. This one is the milk chocolate version. Not always easy to open. There we go. Got it open. Opens like this. Look how cute. This is my cool toned brown palette. I love the shades in here. You've got a more neutral, a more cool. Here's your dark matte. Up here is a beautiful taupey shimmer. You've got, oh, just such beautiful quality palette. I have worn this many times. I love this palette. High quality. Packaging is adorable. There was a warmer version, there was a purple version, there were a couple different versions, and they are still on the website. Glamlite is a fabulous brand. I would love to own so much more. In the number 2 position, I, again, with the Glamlite, just adore their formula. But I do believe that these Mikayla palettes are special. This is the Mikayla and Glamlite Paht 2 collection. I mean, for the glitter lovers out there, for the green and gold, this is so stunning. I like this even more than the first one. You get a lovely mirror, and then just look at these colors. I have played with all of them. I mean, look at that. That is gorgeous. So many pretties. And then the black is a nice inky black. Look at that black. You have a million different eye looks in here, and I recommend. If you've been watching my channel, if you know, you know, I have fallen in love with this Beauty Bay Dark Fantasy palette. Absolutely stunning. I love the pan sizes. It reminds me of Juvia's place. And Beauty Bay goes on sale all the time. Yes, please. Creamy mattes, really popping shimmers, not a topper situation that I have found. All very poppin', pigmented shimmers that I just love. I've done soft looks, I've done bold looks. I love, again, that there is a matte black and a matte white. Those can really help. If I wanted to make that brown a little bit softer, I would tap into both of these to make it a softer brown. So many things that you can do. Today I am wearing this palette. I started with dark matter on my lid and built up a dark base. Then I went in with this deep dark purple called Hardcore, and I blended out the black with that. Then I went into this stunning blue. It's called Source. On the bottom lash line, I took a little bit more of the dark matter and a little bit more of the Hardcore, and I blended. I took a teensy bit of this Atmosphere, the white, and just went over the very top close to my eyebrows with it. So love this palette so much that I bought 2 more palettes from Beauty Bay. I got a bunch of things, so we'll see if all of their products are fabulous or if you should just stick to the eyeshadows. So make sure you're subscribed because that video is coming. I do have a couple of honorable mentions. You know that I told you I do not like, sorry, I'm sitting on my good foot, products that you can't get your hands on. If it ever happens, it was an accident, and I'm sorry. I try to check before I film, but there were a couple palettes that I need to tell you about in the event that they come back, because sometimes they're out of stock, sometimes they're retired. I don't know, and I have seen things come back, so I want to mention them because they're beautiful. This is the Willy Wonka palette. The collection, the last time I checked, was still available on Glamlite's website, but I can't recommend the collection because I didn't love the lip liner. I didn't love the blush. I still have the little perfumed egg sitting here. They were all cute, but truly the star of the show was this palette. I loved the idea of this palette. It smells a little bit like chocolate, but just the nicest neutral palette, under $10. I really liked the way that it performed. I made the most gorgeous black smoky eye well, I shouldn't say black, dark brown smoky eye, because the darkest color is a dark, dark brown. But I could not believe how pigmented and nice it went on. And this one also has a cream shade in it. So for less than $10, I would like to try more from Sheglam. The next one, you know, I loved so much, I bought an extra one and used it in a giveaway, and that is the Sephora collection. This is the I Love palette. And this one has gone in and out, so when I'm editing, I will see if this is there, because it's $10 regular price, and then it went on sale for $7, and then during the Sephora sale, it was 30% off, like so inexpensive. But I was blown away by this very simple palette. The shimmers are great, the mattes are great. I like that they put this big matte shade right here if you wanted to set your eyelid with it, if you're more of a concealer for eyeshadow primer kind of gal. Fantastic. I have made some beautiful looks with this palette. I need to try more from the Sephora brand. I've tried the pocket palettes and I've tried this, but I know that there are a few other ones. Hopefully that quality goes across the board, but I can tell you that this I Love is fantastic. I got mine in the variation medium cool. This was a palette that I was a little bit sad. I loved it so much, and I should have bought two when I had the opportunity. This one does go in and out of the Colourpop website. This one is the Blow and Smoke palette from Colourpop. If you are a cool toned lover, you will love this palette. I gave it to my mother, and I had to steal it from her to make this video. But it is just perfection in a cool tone palette. When I got this, I immediately ran and grabbed my Natasha Denona Mini Xenon palette, because this is a dupe, except this one has more colors and is less money. The shimmers are just as popping as Natasha Denona's. The mattes work just as creamy. So, so stunning. My mother is in this all the time. We just traveled this week. She had it with her. I did see another one that looks very, very good, and it is a quad, and I love the quad formula from Colourpop. It is called Nickel and Dimed. I would like to try that. Honorable mentions, Pat McGrath. I was so excited. I love Pat McGrath's formula. The mattes I struggle with a little bit. They are super pigmented, but not always the easiest to blend. I really have to take my time, but sometimes that's where the joy comes in, is really working it in and then feeling that joy when it just looks gorgeous. But her shimmers are beyond anything I've ever felt. And these quints came out with her, this was her holiday collection, and this was the Bronzed Bliss. You might be able to get the duo, but I didn't see the single in there. She has new quints available. The color story wasn't speaking to me. I believe that Pat McGrath, if you can find the color story that works for you, you would not be sorry if you are an eyeshadow lover like me. But these colors are just stunning. This one came with 4 shimmers and 1 matte, which a lot of people were complaining about. I was able to make it work in my video, and I've also taken my bronzer and just thrown my bronzer in as a transition, gone in with one of these 4 shimmers that are stunning, and then just deepen that outer corner with that black. Easy peasy. Most of us have bronzer in our collection. I hope she brings this back because it was beautiful, or comes out with something similar, because I would grab it. Now for the palettes that are the worst. In the number 5 of the worst palettes, I put in this palette here from Paht. I struggled greatly as to whether or not I should return this palette. I was disappointed. I went through one Sephora sale, not picking it up, and then the second Sephora sale, I said I have to do it. I wasn't interested in the mauve version, and I remember watching videos where they talked about the mauve version being better, which is a disappointment because the mauve version just doesn't speak to me. I like mauve shadows, but it's not something that I want a lot of in my collection. This palette is stunning to look at. I should love it. So many beautiful neutral browns, and there's a more of a red brown in here. There's a deep brown. There's 2 cream shadows that work really, really well. And then it's a heavy palette, and then all of these lighter tone shades. But right here is where he lost me. These 2 shimmers are toppers. I have tried putting them over the darker shimmer. I've tried putting them over this. If I put a white cream shadow, I have one from e.l.f. If I use that, it makes me happier, but I still feel like I shouldn't have to work so hard. And somebody told me that the shimmer toppers are a trend right now. That makes Jenny sad because I want more pop. It looks very, very sheer, just itty bitty bits of glitter. There are people that love that. I am not one that loves that. The copper one has way more pigment, but these two brighter ones, which are the ones that I would go into, didn't. I am going to hang on to it, but I have to admit, I was disappointed. In the number 4 position, it's so bad I don't have it anymore. I will post a picture. It was the Maybelline Stacker. I loved Kaja, and Kaja has a beautiful stacker eyeshadow formula that I have many of them and I enjoy them. They're fun to travel with. Love that formula. I was so excited when Maybelline came out with their version. I was hoping that their formula would be better. I can't tell you of a Maybelline eyeshadow that I enjoy, or a L'Oreal, or a CoverGirl, although I did just buy the new one. Stay tuned, we'll see what we think. But I was hopeful. It just wasn't a good formula. Kind of powdery. The pigment wasn't there. The shimmer did show up, but not as bright as I would like it to be. So that was one that I took back. The number 3 position, again, I feel bad about this, but this is the Alter Ego Harmony palette. I feel bad because I have other palettes from Alter Ego that I enjoy greatly, and I'm not sure if it's that whole topper trend that's happening, or if it's the color story, because again, I'm not huge into the mauve tones. But I did not pick up the Natasha Denona Retro palette, and everybody said it was fabulous. I didn't want to waste my money on tones that I'm not drawn to. So when Alter Ego came out with another option, yes please. It is a dupe for that palette. I've seen videos where people are saying that it is definitely the same quality. I don't know about that. I'd like Alter Ego's formula for their mattes. It doesn't feel like Natasha, but it is a very nice formula, and you're paying so much less. And I remember using this palette and being like, what's happening with the shimmers? They're just not enough for me. I had to really try to build them. I could feel my finger digging in there, and it didn't seem to be the case with the other one. So not sure what happened with this one. If you are not into the super bold shimmers and this color story appeals to you, you might be happy with this. But this was a disappointment to me. And in the number 1 position for palettes that I was not happy with, can you guess it? This was a huge disappointment because I am a huge Wizard of Oz fan. I saw this in my What's New in Makeup when I was going through Instagram. I knew that this was coming. I knew this would be a good opportunity to try the brand, and wow, this is probably the last time I'll try the brand. And that is the Kylie Cosmetics Wizard of Oz palette. I have it backwards. I was so disappointed. The mattes were splotchy and sheer. This is probably the worst blue I have ever used. It looked horrible on my eyes. The only colors that I like in this palette are these 2 shimmers right here. Everything else is just okay or terrible. Even the highlight feels so rough on the finger. The blush feels really dry and chalky. This was a $50 palette. When my mother saw the video of me saying that I did not like it, she very politely asked for me to give it to her. She says it's okay. She can get past the quality. She's enjoying the fact that it's Wizard of Oz, so I was happy to give it to her. It's very sad when you spend a lot of money and you don't get use out of the product. I could have returned it. I'm just not great at returning back to the brand websites. Ulta and Sephora are easy because they're local to me. So I'm glad my mom is getting some good use out of it. So that's everything that I wanted to share with you. Let me know if you have some of these palettes, how you feel about them, if you agree, if you disagree, what your opinion is, if you have some tips on how to get use out of the palettes better. Make sure that you are subscribed if you are not already. I would love to have you join me. I upload videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. I hope that you'll give the video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment to let me know that you were here, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day.